Hello, you're back with a single malt review as we continue our travail through the creative blends from Compass Box. Today we're on to the second in
Yes,
this
we
box
are.
set.
And I suspect that is going to be the Oak Cross, unless we mix them up. Yes, indeed, Oak Cross. I'll give this one a pour, and you give the people what it's made of.
So last time it was the Asula, which is a true blend in the sense that there is whiskey and there is also grain spirit. This time it is a blend which is all Scotch, so all Scotch whiskey, sorry. So what do we got? Okay, bottled at 43%. What we have here, it's 3 different single malts coming from the towns of Olness, Brora and Carron. Now, I found this kind of interesting. So it's 60% there's Highland, from North Highlands at least, 20% of it also from the Highlands, should we not be far north of the Highlands, and 20% Speyside. And the barrel maturation is interesting here in that it's 60% first fill bourbon and 40% new French oak. So possibly virgin oak, never before used.
Well, you'd have to assume new French oak. That's very, very uncommon practice, putting whiskey into new French oak. I suspect it might be as some sort of a finish, because I've aged some home distillation in new French oak, and you get a pretty jolly dark whiskey pretty jolly quickly, which this is absolutely not. It's only slightly darker than the previous blended we had before.
Yeah, the one detail they don't give us on their rather comprehensive and detailed notes is how long it's spent in each kind of wood, which is fine. There's, get a bit of mystery there. So those towns, though, that tells you a thing or two about what whiskey we're probably drinking.
It does. It tells you, well, depending on your how down the hole of Scotch whiskey knowledge you are, it'll tell you more or less. Brora is a bit of a giveaway. You might as well just plainly say Clynelish if you're referring to Brora. That's where Clynelish is, and it's the distillery that was built over the road to support Clynelish, but subsequently discontinued. You can still find bottles of Brora floating around for increasingly huge prices, given that they're now very, very collectible. But yeah, so that one's kind of a gimme. But I can determine a couple of other things from their descriptions here. They describe one of their Speyside whiskies as imparting meatiness, and if that's not a description of malt lack, then I'd be very, very surprised. So I think we're looking at some Clynelish, malt lack, and a few other things. I suspect maybe linkwood.
There is only the one Speyside whiskey in here. It's 20% of the overall composition, the others being 2 different Highland whiskies.
So we'll see what we've got here on the nose.
Ooh, it's got again, both the Speyside and Highland characters.
Compared to the last one, there's a significant more sort of roundness. This has got a lot of. This is really very malty. It's a lot of more of a weighty nose on it than this one, and I suspect it's going to be a lot more of a weighty whiskey as well.
A lot of white fruit, a little less sweetness than I'd expect something that was so Highland heavy, but it's definitely got that Speyside influence. And now the casks, I think, are making a difference too. Last time it was all bourbon casks, new casks or rejuvenated. This one is still majority first fill bourbon, but 40% new French oak. So
but no, as I say, there is quite a lot of white peach, but it's a very rounded malty. We're getting back into the sort of standard malt whiskey end of the spectrum with a lot of honey, and
there's a hint of beeswax even. So if there's Clynelish going on, then I would not at all be surprised. And
as it says, Oak Cross, there is not even a small amount of oak going on in here. There's a lot of oak going on in here. It's very, very evident. So, that's the nose. And what strength are we dealing with here? It's 43, so not too strong.
Oh, there goes that fresh oak. That is sharp and punchy, much more immediately lemony than would have expected, and quite a sappy, fresh hewn timber quality to it.
It's a much more vigorous flavours on a much more vigorous malt base, I think.
There's probably some fairly young whiskey in here.
I'd say there probably would be. I think it tastes to me like something where there's a mix of maybe, I wouldn't go younger than 8, but it's certainly hovering around the 10 mark, I'd say. It's a little bit kaleidoscopic right up front, but the Clynelish element does sort of settle out at the end. It has a long very mellow, rounded, and significantly waxy finish to it. And it's quite mouth coating, which is very, very telltale for Clynelish.
There is a that fresh wood character is reminding me very slightly of the similar fresh wood notes from Ardbeg's recent Kelpie, which used, at least for some of it, virgin oak.
That one tastes like one that might benefit from just a wee splash of water.
So this is complex, interesting, a good mix of they're not always very well blending or harmonising flavours. There's a little bit of a clash going on of the different characters there, but that's fine because it means there's a bit of a conversation in your mouth with every sip.
Yeah, it's a serious whiskey, especially compared to the last one. They're straight up blended as... I still don't know if I'm getting this even in the ballpark, but the Islay blended malt, blended Scotch, I should say. So this water has...
I think it's softened it. It's brought out some of the older whiskey characters. There's probably some, not especially youthful whiskey in there.
That has brought out a bit more of the wood, and maybe, I think, from my taste, just a bit too much of the wood. So I'd say better without. I
go in a different direction. That has, for me, amplified the beeswaxy, maybe Clynelish properties.
It certainly broadens it out, freshens it, but now there's just a little too much oak tannin on there for me. But it's always down to personal taste preference anyway.
I'm liking this, and so far a lot more than the Islay, which was fine. Just this goes a few steps beyond. I think this is it's a much more serious whiskey. The Islay, goodness knows. Someone correct us, make us look silly. That was certainly a serious blend, but this is a serious, proper single, well, not a single malt, but a blended malt, so near as damn it. This really brings a lot of the things you'd expect from malt whiskey in no small quantity. Scores, oh goodness, now I'm getting just a little bit of peat out of it now that I put the water in there and it's had some time to think about it. Yeah, a little bit of mainland peat, that's rather interesting. Well, I won't think too deeply on that before I give it the score, or I'll have to adjust it, but that's probably an 86 from me. It's not my absolute favourite style of whiskey, but I can see what it's sort of doing there. What do you think? For me, it's an 83. It is a number of points above and beyond the Islay. And hey, if this ascension continues, we're going to get into some truly spectacular scores as we work our way down toward the bottom of the box.
So it keeps going.
I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes next.
No, Dave's marking hard today. It'll have to work for its points today. All right then. Well, stick around for the next one. It'll be coming up very, very shortly. Yes. Unless I'm extremely tardy with the production, which is always a danger. Anyway, Slanger, catch us next time.